that kind of fight? I know that Democrats are trying to fight, but also how would it feel if Republicans did that at your office?
I haven't seen the video, so I'm unfamiliar with the characterization that you are presenting. Congresswoman Nanette Barragan has issued a statement on the incident, and I think her statement speaks for itself.
But what do you think about it?
Same answer.
Have you spoken to the Congresswoman about the incident or U.S. Capitol Police?
Briefly. Thanks.
Do you think any action should be taken on that if you speak with Capitol Police?
Congresswoman Barragan has issued a statement as it relates to the matter. I look forward to a subsequent conversation with her as well as the Capitol Police. I have nothing to say about the situation that I haven't seen unfold on video at this moment.
I have it on video if you'd like to see, because I think other reporters are going to
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Leader Jeffrey. Given the recent court-issued restraining order against Representative Corey Mills, I just wanted to get your message, get any message from House Democratic leadership about kind of what does it say that your Republican colleagues have kind of remained silent or kind of dismissed the allegations that have come out against one of their members? Just what are your general thoughts about the situation?
I want to yield to Catherine Clark on this issue, but this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic violence is a serious issue in this country for women all throughout America. And the notion that House Republican leaders would dismiss the seriousness of what is clearly emerging as an untenable and frightening situation relative to Representative Mills is irresponsible. And the Congress should be better than that level of dismissiveness that has been on display amongst my Republican colleagues.
Thank you. The allegations against Representative Mills are disturbing, but as the leader said, it is the response from Speaker Johnson that is not the first time of dismissing allegations, a restraining order that's been put in place as somehow not a serious question. And it is the same way he has approached this entire healthcare issue. And it is a crisis that will be felt by every single hardworking American in this country, but it is going to be felt first and hardest by women in this country. And his refusal to come and even negotiate, his saying that healthcare is some sort of, ancillary issue to what we're dealing with here, his allowing government to shut down in order to say it's my way or the highway. And what we are watching happening to women is really, it is chilling to watch. If you take the fact that since the Republicans have enforced abortion bans, we have 1/3 of all the counties in this country, there's no safe place to have a baby. There is no obstetric care in 1/3 of all our counties. And in some states like Georgia, that's more like 50% of their counties. We are saying to women that all the gains that they were able to, when they can have health insurance and not worry about being
in beautiful Alpine Helen, with fun and festivities every Thursday through Sunday starting September 4th and nightly starting September 25th. For more information, visit HelenChamber.com/Oktoberfest.
65% of the births in Louisiana, and we're saying that, those cuts to Medicaid, this will just somehow trickle down from the billionaires and provide health care, reopen maternity wards across this country. We hear the dismissal. The American people hear the arrogance and the dismissal that is in all of this messaging. And the American people are making note that if you do not have 9 zeros behind your account number in your savings or checking account, you don't count. And that message to American women, and just writing off these serious allegations against a sitting member of Congress as something frivolous and a ridiculous question speaks volumes of where they value their constituents and especially women in this month, as the leader pointed out, that is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we hear the message loud and clear, Mike Johnson. We hear it from the GOP. We don't matter, but we're going to keep showing up and do our jobs. We're going to come and fight for the American people so that they get health care and can live with security in their homes, in their communities, and know that they can afford to provide a decent life for their families.
The dismissiveness that we saw on display earlier today is consistent with what Republicans did earlier this year in passing their one big ugly bill, the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, stealing food from the mouths of hungry children, women, seniors, and veterans. And all of that was done so that Republicans could provide massive tax breaks that are permanent to their billionaire donors. That's the focus of House Republicans, Senate Republicans, and the Trump administration. Hurt everyday Americans, including women, infants, and children, in order to reward their billionaire donors. That's unacceptable to us. We believe the American people find it unacceptable. And they will be held accountable.
Leader Jeffries,
Nick.
The Trump administration is threatening even more mass firings as the shutdown goes on. Should Democrats demand these firings be reversed to end the shutdown?
We believe that these firings are illegal, violate the law, and will be reversed, either congressionally or by the courts. Donald Trump and his toxic, corrupt administration have been firing federal employees since the beginning of his presidency. And to the extent that they're pretending as if the shutdown has anything to do with the continuation of that effort is a laughable proposition. It's disturbing that they're using hardworking federal civil servants as political pawns to continue their toxic approach to undermining the ability of the federal government to deliver services effectively and efficiently to the American people. It appears that Donald Trump and the administration thought that they were going to somehow bully, threaten, and intimidate Democrats into backing down from our position that we need to decisively address the Republican healthcare crisis. The Republican efforts to intimidate the American people have failed. And that's why we maintain the position that the only way forward is for Republicans to finally decide to sit down with Democrats, negotiate a bipartisan path forward, reopen the government, pay our hardworking federal employees, and address the healthcare crisis that Republicans have created that is actually devastating hardworking American taxpayers all across the country, including in rural America. That's an unacceptable situation that the country finds itself in right now, which is why we believe we're standing on the right side of the American people.
Thank you. The Affordable Care Act is about 15 years old, and we keep seeing it come up here in Congress, in campaigns. Why do you think this is such a divisive issue among Democrats and Republicans after all this time?
It's not a divisive issue for Democrats. It's not a divisive issue for independents. And it certainly isn't a divisive issue for the American people. The overwhelming majority of the American people, more than 70%, strongly support the Affordable Care Act and the continuation of the Affordable Care Act tax credits because they understand the importance as it relates to making sure that every single person in this country, every single hardworking American taxpayer can see a doctor when they need one, or when their children or their family needs to go see a doctor and get the health care that they need. Republicans are the ones who have been continuously obsessed. They really need an intervention as it relates to their obsession connected to the Affordable Care Act. Republicans have now tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act more than 70 times over the last 15 years. They failed every single time. And yet they continue to try to rip health care away from the American people, including their own constituents. The top 5 states that benefit from their residents getting health care as a result of the Affordable Care Act tax credits are all states won by Donald Trump. They include West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, Tennessee, and Mississippi. 45% of the people who are on the Affordable Care Act right now are Republicans. 35% Democrats and 20% independents. The Affordable Care Act should not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. Healthcare is an American issue. Protecting hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers, that's an American issue. Standing up for Medicare and Medicaid, as Democrats are doing, that's an American issue. And it's perplexing to us that Republicans refuse to spend a dime to protect the health care of the American people. But somehow the Trump administration found $40 billion to bail out a right-wing wannabe dictator in Argentina in ways that are also going to continue to hurt our soybean farmers in Iowa and in the Midwest. That's outrageous. This is corruption in real time. It's having serious consequences on the American people. Pete? All right. Questions? Okay.
Leader Jeffries, will you attend a No Kings rally on Saturday? And what do you think of Speaker Johnson and other Republicans calling these Hate America rallies?
I mean, it's extraordinary to me, and I want to defer to Pete and Catherine on this, but, you know, House Republicans are flailing. These people have been on vacation for 3 consecutive weeks. In fact, going back to the end of July, because of decisions made by House Republican leadership, the Congress has only worked for about 15 days. That's extraordinary. And then Republicans and Donald Trump shut the government down, and they're forcing hardworking federal civil servants to work without pay or to be furloughed. Like, Republicans are not serious about solving problems for the American people. They're creating problems. And so the effort to mischaracterize the rallies that are going to take place all across the country is part of the continued right-wing disinformation machine that is failing to persuade the American people as to what this shutdown is all about. And as a result, Republicans are falling apart.
I'll be at a rally. I'll be holding an American flag in my hand as well. It seems that Speaker Johnson and House Republicans only believe that free speech matters if you agree with their speech. So my message to the American public is that's what Speaker Johnson feels. If you don't agree with him, you're un-American. So join us. We'll see you out there. And in California, we're going to continue to remind people about the importance of Proposition 50. I wouldn't ever politic from this lectern, but Californians understand what's at stake, and they understand an ability to push back against Donald Trump is on their ballot. And more importantly, these ballots are on their kitchen table. And so the importance of these rallies are, do you believe in pushing back? Do you believe in standing with us as we fight for health care? And do you believe that we should safeguard next year's election before Donald Trump tries to rig the election, then you're a yes on 50. And so my message will be clear, but I'll be the one wearing red, white, and blue as well.
Just think about where we are, where millions of Americans are coming out to say, we elect presidents, we don't have kings. And the Republicans are like, how un-American. I mean, just how they are so blatant with their disregard for how our system works, for how our Constitution is put together, for how we are supposed to be a country that operates under the rule of law. And layer on top of that they are saying to the American people, if you are not extremely wealthy, you don't count. You don't count. And when you're saying to those same farmers who are coming to my office, and I don't exactly represent a large agricultural community in suburban Boston, but they're coming to my office because they are hurting. Just rely on the ACA. And this $40 billion could go a long way towards that tax credit that they've decided to take away. Their priorities are completely upside down. Why would they possibly double down on what they're sending to Argentina, take away health care from millions of Americans, and increase premiums for every American, and say that people coming together to peacefully protest is un-American? It's no wonder they're not showing up to their jobs. They've forgotten what they're even supposed to be doing here and representing the people, not a president.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Speaker Johnson said this morning that while there are no talks on the leadership level, there are talks among appropriators, bipartisan, bicameral. Can you give us an update on those talks? And is there any scenario where if this thing keeps dragging on for weeks and weeks and weeks, that the Appropriations Committee could actually, there would be no need for a stopgap because you could start passing individual appropriations bills, including addressing some of the issues that you're demanding?
There are informal conversations that are taking place in the Senate relative to a potential bipartisan path forward, but those conversations have not extended to the House as it relates to the appropriators. Rosa DeLauro made clear earlier today that she's had no outreach from the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Tom Cole, and there hasn't been any indication of a Republican willingness to actually sit down and work out a bipartisan agreement that makes life better for the American people, that reopens the government, and that addresses the Republican health care crisis. That's challenging. This is day 15 of the government shutdown. And what we've gotten from Republicans is Donald Trump has spent more time on the golf course than he spent talking to Democrats about reopening the government. Mike Johnson and House Republicans have been on vacation for 3 weeks with no indication that they intend to come back, notwithstanding the fact they shut the government down, are hurting everyday Americans, and refuse to address the healthcare crisis that they've created. Yet somehow they found $40 billion to bail out Argentina in order to benefit and enhance the lifestyles of the rich and shameless, those financiers who are connected to this corrupt Argentinian deal. But they can't find a dime to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, whose expiration is going to impact tens of millions of Americans. They can't find a dime. They can't be bothered to even sit down and have a conversation. In real time, the Republicans are showing the American people what they're all about. Cruelty is the point. And they only care about the well-off and the well-connected. This is the Trump friends and family plan that's hurting the American people. and has been since day one. It's the only thing they care about. They promised that costs would go down on day one. Costs haven't gone down here in America. Costs are going up. Inflation is going up. The Trump tariffs are causing thousands of dollars in additional expense for everyday Americans all across the country. Housing costs going up. Grocery costs going up. Electricity bills through the roof. And now people all across America, including in so many different rural communities, are about to experience dramatically increased healthcare costs that's unsustainable for them and for their families, and Republicans could care less. Thank you all.
All right, can I just follow up real quick? Are you being appraised at all on the informal Senate talks that you
Yes.
just referenced?
Yes.
Are you making progress?
Yes. Thank you.
Claire, are you going to the rally?
We missed you.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have the leader of Argentina, a place that I love, I've been to, and one of the most beautiful places in the world, President. And I really want to thank you very much. He's MAGA all the way. It's Make Argentina Great Again. I heard about him when he was campaigning, and even before his campaign. He's a great economist, and he was saying a lot of very correct things, and he was very much in a conservative mode. And I heard all about you as you were running and even before you were running, because as a tremendously talented economist, you were getting a lot of good write-ups, and I appreciated that. But he was Make Argentina Great Again. It worked. I actually sent him some hats for his early part of the campaign, and then he called me. He wanted a lot more, and I said, "When does it stop? When will it stop?" And it stopped with him winning, and he's become very popular, and he's on the verge of a breakthrough. I think he's really on the verge of tremendous economic success, and I know that Scott Bessent is helping, and our great Scott is doing a job, and he feels very strongly about it. And Scott, do you want to say just a couple of words about that, please?
Yes, sir. The president is fighting 100 years of bad economic history and policy, and is
both presidents.
Both.
We're fighting bad. I thought he was talking about the U.S. president when he said that.
And there's a midterm election coming up